Have you noticed it? The strange way time slips away faster with each passing year. How summer lasted forever when you were 10, but now entire seasons seem to vanish between your morning coffee and evening regrets. What is this phenomenon? Why does time, that once felt infinite, now race ahead like a train you can't catch? It's not just nostalgia. It's not just aging. It's something deeper, psychological, philosophical, even existential. And to understand it, we have to ask a question few dare to ask. What is time really? And more importantly, what happens to our experience of time when we begin to sense that we are running out of it? In physics, time ticks forward in even beats, a cold, mathematical constant. But in the theatre of the human mind, time is far from objective. It stretches, contracts, speeds up and slows down, shaped not by clocks, but by our attention, emotion and memory. This is why a 10-minute conversation with someone you love can feel like a fleeting moment, while 10 minutes in a waiting room feels like an hour. And as we age, something changes in the way our brains perceive this invisible dimension. Memories blur, novelty fades, routines solidify, and slowly, imperceptibly, the years begin to collapse into one another. But to really understand what's happening, we have to leave neuroscience behind for a moment and descend into the philosophy of time itself. Enter Martin Heidegger, the 20th century philosopher who didn't just study time, he tried to feel it, to live it, to make us confront it, not as a number, but as a condition of being alive. Heidegger argued that time is not a substance we move through, but the very background against which life unfolds. To exist, he said, is to exist temporally. Temporality is the condition for the possibility of experience itself, Heidegger wrote. In other words, without time, we would not even be able to make sense of the world. But there's more. According to Heidegger, our perception of time is shaped by our awareness of mortality. We don't just live in time, we live toward the end of it. He called this being toward death, the idea that we are constantly, even unconsciously, aware that our time is finite. This changes everything, because a child doesn't think of death. For a child, the day stretches endlessly because there is no perceived limit. But for an adult, especially as we age, we live each moment in the shadow of endings, and that shadow compresses time.
We become more aware of what's slipping away, and that awareness, paradoxically, makes it feel like it's slipping away faster. But let's add another layer to this mystery: memory. Psychologists tell us that our sense of how long something lasted is closely tied to how many memories we formed during that time. That's why childhood summers felt long. They were packed with new experiences. Each day was a discovery. First bike ride, first best friend, first heartbreak. But as we grow older, many of our days become replicas of the day before. Wake, work, scroll, sleep. And so, the brain, efficient as ever, begins to blur those moments together. A year in adulthood might feel like a month in childhood, not because it was shorter, but because it was less lived. There's a haunting quote by the philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau: "The world of reality has its limits. The world of imagination is boundless." Childhood is full of imagination. Every stick is a sword, every room a kingdom. But adulthood tends to trade wonder for efficiency, and the price we pay is our experience of time. But this isn't just a personal issue, it's a civilizational one. Sociologist Hartmut Rosa calls our age one of social acceleration. Our technologies move faster. Our decisions are quicker. Our attention spans shorter. We are surrounded by more content, more choices, more urgency, and yet we feel like we have less time than ever. This is not a coincidence. It's the logic of a culture that has turned time into a currency and speed into a virtue. But Heidegger would say this acceleration is not just overwhelming, it's dangerous, because it makes us forget how to be present. And in forgetting presence, we forget being. So now we face the real question. If time is not just ticking, but slipping, if memory is blurring, and life is accelerating, is there any way to slow time down again, to feel our days as deep rather than fast, to reconnect with that childlike sense that life is wide, not narrow? The answer is not in clocks, calendars, or chaos. It's in the quality of our being. When Heidegger spoke of being toward death, he didn't mean we should obsess over dying. He meant the opposite. He meant that by confronting death, not denying it, we awaken a more authentic mode of existence. To Heidegger, most of us live in what he calls the they self, a diluted identity formed by social expectations, distractions, and surface-level routines. We scroll, we conform, we repeat. We lose our authentic self in the noise of modern life. But there is another path. It's the path of authentic being, where we live not reactively, but deliberately, not endlessly distracted, but deeply present. And here's the radical idea. When we live authentically, time stops rushing. It deepens, it expands, because when we are fully present, a single moment can feel like eternity. Let's bring in modern psychology. Cognitive science shows that the speed of time is deeply tied to attention. What we focus on becomes what we remember, and what we remember becomes our life. This is why a week spent in nature can feel longer than a month spent in the office. Not because the days were longer, but because you were present. You noticed the details, the air, the light, the sound. You were alive to the moment. And presence, in a world engineered for distraction, is revolutionary. In a sense, attention is the currency of time. The more we waste it on things that don't matter, the more time seems to vanish. But the more we give our attention fully to what matters, the more time gives something back. Depth. Another key to expanding time is novelty. Studies show that our brains encode new experiences more richly than routine ones. That's why your first trip to a new city feels longer than your daily commute. Novelty creates memory density, and memory density creates the illusion of longer time. This means if you want life to feel longer, do more things for the first time, break patterns, try new routes, learn something unexpected. You don't have to be reckless, just intentional. Inject even a small dose of newness into your day. A walk without your phone. A conversation with a stranger. A book you've never touched before. As Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose, and in our choice lies our growth and our freedom. That space, between mindless reaction and intentional living, is where time slows down. Now, let's revisit the fear that drives all of this. The fear that we're running out of time, that life is passing us by. It's a valid fear, but it doesn't have to be paralyzing.
Heidegger believed that accepting death gives life its shape. Without death, time would be meaningless, like a song without an end. But when we recognize that life is short, we stop wasting it. We stop measuring time by quantity and start measuring it by intensity. This is not about doing more, it's about being more present in what you already do. The goal is not to live forever, it's to live fully, now. Here's where the hope comes in. We can't rewind the clock, but we can change our relationship with time. We can step off the treadmill of acceleration. We can rediscover the richness of ordinary moments. We can recover what psychologist Abraham Maslow called peak experiences, those rare, intense moments of clarity, awe, and connection. And here's the secret. Those moments aren't found in exotic places or future dreams. They're found right here, right now, in presence, in intention, in wonder. And once we learn to live this way, even a little, time no longer slips through our fingers. It opens its arms and invites us to stay. So if time feels like it's accelerating, if the days blur and the years vanish, don't chase time. Don't try to catch up. Instead, slow down. Feel more. Notice more. Choose more. Because the truth is, you don't need more time. You just need to become more alive inside the time you already have. And maybe, just maybe, that's how we make life feel wide again. Not longer, but deeper. If this message slowed your heartbeat, even for a moment, if it reminded you of something you've forgotten, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, because this space is for those who want to live wide, not just fast. And the next video, it might just change how you see your whole life.